Thank you all for coming to our first town hall of the year. Big thanks to Spencer and David. Like, you guys are OGs. But yeah, this is student government's first town hall of the year. We can just start off with introducing ourselves. My name is Alex Miranda. I'm the president in student government. I'll pass it off to Michael.
I'm Michael Zazo. I am the vice president of student government.
I'm Nick Thomas. I'm the communications director.
And I'm Hector Cumming, I'm the new treasurer, so nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, and Hector, he just joined us, maybe, I think it was this month.
Yeah.
We've been looking for a treasurer for almost a year and we finally have one, so, I mean, I think we should give it up for Hector. Yeah, he's been killing it, so, thanks, Hector.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, we can just start off with an icebreaker right now. I can start and then Ebor can go and then we can go counterclockwise. And icebreaker and introducing ourselves. So our icebreaker is, what is your favorite class this semester?
First, people online said they can't hear anything, so.
Oh, I might be muted.
I think it's corrected now.
Oh, okay.
I can hear everyone now.
Excellent.
Well, my favorite class this semester is probably Introduction to Geography. I think the Vivo is cool. Yeah, I think Introduction to Geography.
My favorite class this semester is American film genres by Jeffrey Winkle. He's awesome.
My favorite class this semester is probably interpersonal communication.
My favorite class this semester is Spanish. I took Spanish immersion in elementary school and I dropped out in ninth grade, so retaking the class, learning Spanish again, so it's a really cool experience, so that's my favorite class.
All right, so when we introduce ourselves, what is on the
Yeah, like your name, the organization you're with, major, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, my name is Tyrell. My favorite class this semester is acting 2. Super excited for that. I am alongside of the Black African Student Union. And I am currently majoring in business admin, but I'm thinking about switching to theater.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jamelia Hartley. I'm the interim director of the Woodrick Center for Inclusion and Multicultural Affairs, formerly known as the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, as of a week and a half ago. I'm taking a class and teaching a class. So I'm taking a law class that's like around like the ideas and concepts of like superintendency, and like education. And then I'm teaching a sports officiating class. So obviously I have to take the sports officiating class. Law is a little dense for me, so, but I'm on track to, enroll into a PhD program by the end of the year.
Very nice. Congrats.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashpreet. I'm the president of International Language Club, and my favorite class this semester has to be quantitative analysis chemistry.
Okay.
I don't even think I can say that.
I'm David Hodge. I'm the vice president of Foreign Affairs Club. And favorite class would be astronomy. It's 3 hours long, but slightly worth it.
Are you in my astronomy class?
No,
Okay, because I'm taking that class too, and I have a seat. So it's like, it's also 3 hours. Same professor?
which professor?
I forget his name. He's like an older gentleman.
Nope.
Oh, hi, my name is Katya. I am the secretary for Psi Beta. And my favorite class this semester is German 102.
Sheena.
Hi, my name is Sheena Weaver and I'm the office manager for the Student Life Office. I help student government watch over the budget. Yes.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Ashley, advisor to student government. I also work full-time in student life. I'm not currently a student, but maybe next time.
Hi, I'm Spencer. I'm the president and founder of the Arts Club. I, it's hard to pick, honestly. But I think my favorite would have to be discrete math this semester.
Sneaky,
Stinky.
sneaky,
Oh,
sneaky man.
My name is Remy. I'm the student ambassador for Standout, and my favorite class this semester is probably social psychology. It's my only class, but it's a great class.
My name's Tara. I'm the president and founder of the fitness club, and I guess if I had to choose a favorite class, it's statistics.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm the president of the Student Geology Club, Nice Rocks. And my favorite, class this semester would be Intro to Computer Programming.
Are you taking that online? I'm taking it online.
Good luck with that.
I'm kind of regretting it. I wish I took it in person.
It's so hard.
it's
so
way
hard.
easier in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could the virtual audience introduce themselves as well? Aya, could you start?
Yeah, sure. My name is Aya Khalil. I'm the vice president of the International Language Club, and I'm majoring in architecture. My favorite class this semester is construction materials class.
Yasmina?
Hi, my name is Yasmina Zimmer. I'm the vice president of the Geology Club at GRCC, Nice Rocks. And my favorite class this semester is probably Introduction to Globalization and Inequality.
Before we go to the next person, fun fact, on Friday, Michaela, Yasmina and I, we went mining.
Ooh.
We like went underground, got all dirty, muddy. Yeah, that was cool. Oh, and Tara, you were there as well. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Alyssa, did you want to go?
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Alyssa Gomez. I'm the advisor of Campus Activities Board. And I don't have a favorite class because I'm not in class.
Wanted to thank Kat for joining us today. It's always cool when they can come through.
Yeah. And then I see a director is there. Oh, that's Nick. Never mind.
So I don't wanna log out and log back in with my GRCC.
Yeah, cool. The three people in the back, sorry, I don't know your names by heart. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I am Shakita Clay. I'm the advisor for the Black Africana Student Union. And of course, right now I'm not in class, not even interested in taking classes.
My name is CJ and my favorite class right now is it's a tie. It's either English or humanities.
Ooh.
Nice.
My name is Pearson Van Gorp. I'm the managing editor at the Collegiate, and my favorite class is Global Religions.
Who are you taking that class with?
David Billings.
Nice.
Well, thank you all for being here. Another big thanks to Michaela, Tara, David, and Spencer. You guys been here since last semester, so thanks. Really, really OGs. I think I'm gonna say that like every town hall. Do you guys come?
Do we get an award?
Maybe. But yeah, thank you for introducing yourselves, and we'll move on to the next agenda line. So we just wanted to update you guys what student government has been doing over the past month at GRCC. So first off, we sent out our first newsletter of the year. It should be titled a student government newsletter or welcome to January. It should have been sent to everyone. Has everyone received it, or did someone see it in their email? You didn't see it, Spencer?
No.
Okay. Well, it seems like more people are getting it, but obviously it's not perfect, but yeah, we'll continue to work on that. But to whoever got it, thank you for opening it. And yeah. Our second update is student government is still attending the natatorium renovation committee meetings. For anyone who doesn't know, student government was invited to attend these meetings to be the student voice, for what's happening in the Ford Field House with the pool renovation. And yeah, we're just there to give the student input on what we'd like that space to be. And later today at 1 p.m., Victoria Genowiak and Whitney Marsh are coming to speak and gain feedback from all the students here to see what you would like to see that space used as. Our next update is we brought up the idea of a recreational room last semester, and basically just for a place for students to hang out. And just like socialize, meet other people. And that's coming into formation, and that's led by Michael. If you wanted to explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so we've been working with a number of on-campus facilities, individuals, trying to get this thing set up. Currently looking at potentially doing a pilot of the space in floor G2 of this building. We took a lot of polling data and a lot of surveys, and we took as much student feedback as we could to load it up with what students wanted, primarily a ping pong table, board game rooms, and an area for students to hook up their gaming consoles and stuff too. We are tentatively looking at launching the project by once we come back from spring break, but there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of advisors and academics who need to write things on papers before we can officially launch. So we have our goal. We'll keep you updated.
Cool. Yeah. Our next update is we're looking at bringing the campus activities fee proposal, and we're finalizing that. I'm not sure if anyone may remember, but student government was looking at equalizing the campus activities fee with part-time and full-time students. So for anyone who doesn't know, part-time students pay $5 into the campus activities fee, full-time pay $10. And we want to make it equal, so everyone pays $10 across the board. This would primarily be used to increase our funding to promote more events on campus, since I think a lot of people have noticed that our budget is running low for this year. So yeah, we're finalizing this proposal. It's due by, I think, the second week of February, so for the Board of Trustees to acknowledge it. So, yeah.
It's important to note that towards the end of this, towards the latter end of this town hall meeting, we'll have a conversation board open for us to discuss this further with you guys here, so that you can raise questions if you have them.
Yeah, yeah. And did you want to take the last point?
Yeah, I'll take it. You'll see over there the little box that says suggestion box. This was some other feedback that we received last semester. We wanted to show you that this is what the suggestion box looks like. It's available at the desk at Student Life for you to put anonymous suggestions in whenever you want. We want to hear feedback from you. We'd love to hear more from you. So if you ever have something and you don't want to come to us directly or contact us via email, you can always just use the suggestion box to submit feedback. Brings us to our first ever suggestion submission ever, which I got this morning, which was, can we please have more free food events on campus? And to that, we say yes. We've got at least 2 in the works already, and we're working on more.
And there's one in the back right now.
I'd also like to take this opportunity to point out that there is always free food on campus. There are snack pantries that are set up in various locations, and that is funded out of the campus activities fee. It was this initiative of Student Government and Student Life and others. So if you're hungry, there is food available. Yeah.
What about after hours, once the offices are closed, after 5, where do they go?
The snack pantries that are dotted around this campus and the other campus, they're just cabinets with different food items inside, and those aren't behind any locked door. You can pick those up whenever. So I don't know where the closest one is here, but there should be some food close by.
It's in RGF. where the enrollment center is, but after 5 o'clock it closes. And so I'm just kind of curious, where do students go after 5 when that office closes and students are so used to going?
There's one in the, Student Center building on the 3rd floor. That's always open. It's not behind any doors. Sneeden has one,
Yep.
and that's in the open. There's also one, I believe there's one in the ATC building. I think that
There's
one.
also one in the English, like
Yes.
professors
Yes.
area as well.
Yes.
So do we have any kind of, say for instance, like a sticky, some type of window? You know how they can put like, hey, the snack pantry is located here after hours? I think that would be great, only because in financial aid, my heart hurts when I'm leaving after, out of the door, 5 o'clock, and since I'm like, hold on, we close. They're like, no, I just want some food. That is, yeah. If we can have something that directs the students when the office is closed, where do they go? Especially if they're used to coming to the, up in the enrollment center.
For sure.
We can definitely take a look into that.
Other than that, were there any comments, questions, concerns on that update portion? All right, cool.
Cool. So next is the treasurer's report. To start off, rollover fund should be back in your current budgets. And the next budget training is mandatory for all allocation requests. I'll be sending an email out in the next day or so, with more information about that. And then funds also must be used within 30 days of receiving the funds, and then unused funds will also be returned after 30 days. So keep that in mind. Next on to allocation requests. Our current budget is $13,335.27. And our first allocation request is from PTK, with a total of $936.94. PTK, would you guys like to speak on that if you guys are here?
I think Aya was here, but she left.
Okay.
So real fast, I just want to preface this information. All of these allocation requests are under that $1,000 threshold, meaning that the town hall does not vote actively on that. It's something, it's written in our constitution that allocations over $1,000 are voted on by the town hall. Under are just voted on by student government board. We are just publicizing and making these votes public this week so that you guys have transparency on how we make decisions. And so that can provide you guys with information on how we do allocation requests. Also, it's always good to hear feedback immediately from any clubs that are present. So that's good.
Thank you, Mike.
I don't think PTK is in the room.
Oh, yeah, okay, so we'll move on to.
Well, we still do.
Yeah, we just speak for them to the best of our ability, based on their allocation requests.
And for clarity, I am a member of BTK.
Oh.
So BTK is in the room, but I'm not going to present this allocation request because it's kind of a conflict of interest for me to sit on this board and be a member of PTK. So I will be abstaining from this vote.
Okay, next is the BASU.
Hold on, Hector. You are, you're doing a great job. So we need to come to a decision on this allocation request before we go to the next.
Just to kind of give some background information, they're requesting $936 primarily so that 4 students, I believe, can attend a conference from 4/3 to 4/7. I believe one of the individuals in question who are part of PTK was nominated for some kind of award or is getting some kind of 5-star chapter acknowledgement. What I can say about this event going through the allocation request is that PTK has done a lot of internal fundraising for this event and have raised that money in separation from just asking for it. Additionally, we received an allocation request earlier in the week for something like $3,000 for the whole event. And then that got adjusted through conversations with student life staff and better organization. So they requested just this final $936.94 to be allocated to them to finish off with sending this month.
For clarity, PTK already has money in their account that they will be using to go to this conference. And they're asking for the difference in what they need from like what's in their account versus their total expenses.
Yeah. Yes, Spencer?
Do we have like a cost breakdown?
Yeah, they provided us with a cost breakdown, things like the registration amount, the hotel amount, the flight approximation, remaining funds. Apparently Kim Budd is going to get her flight and travel reimbursed, and so they subtracted that amount from the allocation as well. So they provided us with an effective cost breakdown for this.
Okay.
And so everything appears to be in order. And like I said, the bulk of this has been funded already privately through PTK fundraising and how they receive money. Was it like admissions costs or coverages?
Membership dues, yeah.
Membership dues. So they're just asking for that final amount. If there are no other questions, then we can start the voting process. All right. So I'm torn on this one because you guys all know historically that I don't particularly like voting in favor of sending individual students on trips. That being said, they've done a lot of fundraising, they've done a lot of work on this one. Everything looks to be in order. I think I'm gonna vote to approve this one, just given all the circumstances. They've also been at almost every single town hall event, which is another thing that I take into a large consideration when I make decisions personally. So I'll vote to approve.
Just a quick question. I just didn't hear what you said about you normally don't do something about track. I didn't hear what you said.
I think that some of the more recent allocation requests regarding sending students on large trips and the funding that has been, the large amount of funding that has been dedicated to that is not something that I personally think is a great use of the campus activities fee. That being said, despite that fact, and despite the fact that I voted no on all of those allocations, the board members have voted yes on all of those allocations, so they're passed anyway. But I have my own principles and reasoning.
Oh,
for
that you say your own person. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just was trying to, just for clarification, thank you.
No worries. I can probably talk louder. I apologize.
No, this is a little humming back here. Kind of confused.
I will vote to approve this allocation.
Yeah, for me, I love and appreciate like students getting the opportunity to go places and like representing GRCC. So I would motion to approve it as well. At least Hector.
Yeah, and then to start off, I completely agree with Michael with his points. I know I'm new here, so just based off my limited knowledge to our past examples of our decisions on things just like this, I would also like to approve this allocation request.
Cool. And then Nick, just for clarification, you're abstaining your vote.
I'm abstaining from the vote.
All right. Despite the abstaining, the vote does carry, and so we will approve this allocation request.
PTK isn't here, but that $936 will be added into their account. Shortly after this. Cool. Then we can move on to the next one.
Cool. Next is the BASU allocation request of $975 for the Food for the Soul event. Would you like to speak on that? or-
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so originally we were going to do 4 events in the month of Black History Month. But because spring break is starting a little bit earlier, it cut off our last week. So basically we were like, okay, instead of doing 4, we're gonna see if we can make our 3rd event a really big event and invite everybody just as like a good send away of Black History Month and just to wrap it up fair and also just provide some of that free food that we was talking about to send everybody off to spring break. So yeah, it's basically going to be an event where everyone comes together, and get to eat some soul food. We're gonna talk to a couple of our, some faculty to see if they would like to talk about the history of soul food and, where it come from, why does it matter, and, what does it mean to Black people and their culture and everything like that. I'm also gonna be willing to speak on that. So I think that's pretty much it. And I also have a, like basically a cost breakdown, just if anybody needs to understand why it's so much.
Are you catering like from GRCC?
Yep, and it's gonna be with a vendor that's already, been approved by GRCC.
Cool. And then just like for promotional purposes, like when is it, what time?
Yeah, so every single one of our events will be on Tuesdays. So this specific event will be the last Tuesday of February, so February 20th. 12:30 to 2:30.
Cool.
So I just had one quick question about the price breakdown, that I was hoping to get like a bit of clarification on, but, it says like total amount cost, is, let me see here. I saw the divided by 2. And so,
Divided
like,
in half, yeah.
yeah, so that other half, did that come from like fundraising or money already in the account?
Yeah, so I'm actually partnering up with the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, in consideration of our budget being low. So I'm happy that I actually did that. So we're partnering with them, and they're paying half of the cost, and we're allocating for the other half.
Awesome.
And have you already thought about like signage and stuff promoting the event?
Yep, we already got all the flyers made, and we're just waiting to post them until these allocations are approved.
Well,
I just, for the photographer, do you plan on using GRCCs as well, or outsourcing?
No, so this photographer is actually in her last semester at
Oh,
GRCC for a photography degree. So I thought it would just be dope to, hire, and she just started her business. So I thought it would be dope for GRCC to be her first customer, professional customer. So she's getting the hang of like sending invoices and everything. So she's already sent over an invoice. She's already filled out the vendor application. So yeah, that's why I just chose to choose a student instead of somebody that's an adult.
No, I like that even better. She giving back to the community. Yeah, are there any concerns about Nick?
A question about that specifically, is the photographer is a member of your club?
No.
Okay.
A student here.
She's in her last semester. She's graduating with a photography degree at the end of this semester.
Great. And then my other question is about your budget, which it says that what you need is 1,890 divided in half for 945. Why is the request for 975?
Yeah, so in all of the events, the amount that's needed, it's 945, but I requested a little bit more just in case anything happens. I've talked to a couple of advisors about previous things, and they're like, come with an estimate. So I wanted to make it very clear of how much exactly we'll need and how much we're asking for, just to be safe.
I think that that's personally fine. I just feel like, when you're creating these allocation requests, it'd probably be good to just indicate that that residual is for, it is for a buffer in some kind of way. Well, I was curious what Sheena had to say in particular about, allocations that are, not exact after the price breakdown.
I feel like coming with a buffer number is very smart because vendors could, something could happen where a vendor says, I can't do it. And then now you gotta find somebody else and you gotta make sure that you have a good amount to, have something. And I did tell Tyrell that I think it would be smart to ask for just a little bit just in case something were to happen, because I would hate for them to plan everything and then one little thing got missed. And then they'll have to ask for a whole nother allocation. So, and either way, if what's not spent has to go back anyways.
Yeah. So after 30 days, anything that's unspent from an allocation returns back to the pool.
Right. Okay, so that brings up two more questions for me. how does that apply to things that are not going to happen within 30 days?
Well, between, when is your event? The
All of these
28th?
events are.
Well, they would be within the 30 days. They would be within the 30 days.
Okay, and then the other, you said that it's important that they put in a good amount to make sure that the event happens. And I would like to know what a good amount for a buffer to be.
I think $50 and under seems reasonable.
$50. Then I would also like to see that put somewhere in
Oh, for sure.
to budget training or constitution
sure.
or something that isn't
sure.
allowable.
For
We
sure.
were
I guess I just
confused on
never
that.
knew
Yeah.
that that was like I mean, and I never had to deal with it that much, so,
Sure.
but I can definitely add it.
Yeah, that's how it came up. I said, why does it say that they need
Yeah.
945 and they're asking for 975? And there's not a line item that says contingencies or approximate or anything.
Yeah.
It just looks like what you're saying is, we want a little extra money and then we could do with that whatever it is. And that's what we've been asking for clubs in the last semester. Was breakdowns of exact amounts.
Yep.
So that's where this is unclear of how much we're just allowed to expert.
Well,
How much extra are we allowed to ask for?
That's the
I
good
will,
point.
I will say, for how long I have been doing this, each student government is gonna be different in what they allow, so things change, so, I mean, that could be why it wasn't in the, budget training, cause I'm going based off of what, what changes you guys are making, so, just like.
And just to clarify, like I try to keep it specifically in the $20 to $40 range, cause for that exact reason, I didn't wanna be like, oh, we need $100 extra, that'll just look fishy and it's not realistic. Also, I think it's very important that we just had this conversation, cause now everybody here knows if you ever wanna make an estimate, just to make it clear for you guys. So I think it's just understanding y'all as well better.
Sometimes they do come in and say food for approximately 40 people, this much. And we kind of know, like, you might not spend that full amount.
Yeah.
We understand you don't always know exact cost on everything.
Yeah.
But our job is to oversee the budget and where that money's going. So the more nebulous and non-specific the budget is, the harder it is for us to justify approvals.
Okay.
I appreciate you being forthright with all the information.
Yeah.
I personally, like pulling back from this event, I just really like it. I like how it's a big on-campus event. I like how the money's going directly to a club, starting something that I think is really cool. I like this event a lot. I just want to say. Do we have any other questions or comments, or are we ready to do a vote on it?
Yeah, I would vote to approve this as well. I mean, yeah, I like it. I saw on your breakdown, you have green beans and smoked turkey, mac and cheese, cornbread.
Vegetarian option.
Yeah, so, yeah, and students want free food and it's a good way to promote culture. So, yeah, I vote to approve it.
I'll vote to approve as well.
I'm gonna add that the campus activities fee is not specifically to provide free food for students. And that, like, we have turned down other requests for food just because it's not entirely what it's for. And the difference here is that this is like an event that's open to the public, that the school has been invited to. And everything about this is like, my concerns have been answered in a way that I'm happy with, and I can't wait to attend this event.
Thank you.
I am coming in.
I'd like to approve as well, especially because of the high attendance numbers on the people, that's awesome. And, as well the free food, but absolutely what Nick said, can't forget that stuff.
Thank you, guys.
So we have a second allocation from VA as well.
Yep, yes, we do.
If I would like to address.
Yeah, I was just, so it's $200, for the dance workshop.
Yep, okay, yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be a dance workshop led by, an instructor that's been working in the city, for approximately like 15 years. She's worked alongside of GRPS. She's worked at, conferences. I don't know people's religion, but there were Christian conferences. She owns her own dance, company called Vision Dance. And she trains, high schoolers on how to dance in competition and everything. And she's very immersed in the history of hip hop. So that's why I specifically chose this instructor. Yeah, so she's gonna be just leading a dance workshop. It's gonna be an opportunity for creatives to come together and just, if you ever wanted to be at a dance workshop, a hip hop dance workshop, this is just provide an opportunity for that on campus. So.
For this one, the kind of same issue that was
Yeah, I saw it,
addressed
yeah.
as well, is that like $200 or $370 divided in half is 185, but we've gone over that. We've got clarification on that buffer area, just in case like when you would pick a different instructor or something. I don't know if there's much more I have to say on this one.
I have some questions. It's listed in here, it says, is there any way we can rent a speaker for the event? And I'm assuming you mean like a PA speaker.
Yeah, but I've spoken with one of my board members and she has a speaker to provide for the event.
Okay, great. I was also gonna suggest that you talk to the instructor and see if that's something that they arrange. Because that is common amongst instructors.
That's what I asked.
Yeah, so that might be, to answer that question, you might not have to rent a speaker.
Okay.
For the event.
I also don't want to speak with complete authority, but student life work facilities might be able to help out something if they have enough lead time. If they have that kind of stuff laying around somewhere, I'm sure, but that's always worth checking in on too.
Okay.
I would say it would be like a media request.
Media, yeah.
Mhm.
We tried with media already. Because there are rooms on campus that are more equipped, they don't have like speakers, or they're not like a DJ or anything like that, so they can have speakers.
Never.
Yeah.
What day is it?
This, every event's gonna be on a Tuesday, so we're working kind of backwards. So February 20th is the Food for the Soul. February 13th is the dance workshop, and then February 6th, which is next week, is the social hour.
Cool. Do we have any other questions, comments, anything?
You do.
Oh, that is.
Are you guys on Raider Connect at all? Are there like events?
Yes, yep, but all of these events, we are not trying to jump the gun without getting the approved funds yet, because they won't have events on the Greater Connect that we don't have funds for.
Exactly.
So, yep.
All right, I'll
So,
look
but
for you
they will
guys in
be.
like a few weeks.
Great question and great answer.
If there are no other questions, then I will motion to approve this one as well. I just think it's another great event. I like it a lot.
I vote yes.
I vote yes as well.
I vote yes as well.
Thank you, guys.
That one does end up passing as well.
One more. One of mine. And I'm most excited to talk about this one. Okay, so this is the BASHU Social Hour. This is specifically an event for students to just come together and network. Just come together, we're planning on providing hot cocoa, some cookies, some coffee, some tea, and basically just get all the students together just to conversate. And after they conversate for a while, we're planning on doing a presentation with all of our events that's happening this month, but not only our events, brother to brother events and NIA events. So students have no reason to say they didn't know any Black History Month events that may be going on. And even if you guys, anybody actually here, if you guys have events going on in the month of February, I would love to extend my promotion for that.
When is that?
This is next week, February 6th. So,
In what room?
ATC building, room 120.
And once again, they provided an itemized list for this event: cookies, coffee, hot cocoa, water, tea, the photographers. So for all three of these requests with that the ASU has submitted, they've given us an itemized receipt. It was just the issue of that wiggle room pricing, but that was addressed. Do we have any other questions, comments about this particular event?
Wondering about like a potential plan B if that turnover.
Yeah,
If this is approved and next week is the 6th, do you have confidence in catering? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I know they're booked, but
Yeah, that's a great question.
Isn't it Super Bowl week?
February sixth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so.
February sixth is the Super Bowl. The 11th, not just Super Bowl week.
Oh,
That was my only question.
I think that's significantly less important now that the line.
No, I think that's it. I think that's what.
So, thank you, okay.
But that's actually a great thing that you brought that up. We had a list of backup things to do. Hopefully it goes through, but if it don't, oh, yeah, it already went. So, we're good.
Nice work.
Good jamming, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
And anything else? Alrighty, if that is everything, then I'm gonna once again motion to approve this request. I vote in favor.
We'll get them done.
I'm also in favor.
It's free for staff too.
Yes. Yes, you guys, yes, it's social hour. So basically, I'm gonna try to push this to everyone, so I can get as many students in there as I can, just so they can like talk, because if there's nobody to talk to, it ruins the purpose. So I want everybody to, talk and get comfortable, and then when they're comfortable, that's when I can do the presentation of all the things. I'm like, get out your phones, whatever you need to do, laptops, and just start filling in this calendar of all these things that are free to you and provide free food as well, because I know I'm not the only one providing free food this month, so, yeah, well, February.
All these events seem really cool, and I really applaud you for putting so much effort into this, and I imagine with the snow day 2 weeks ago, it pushed planning a bit. But you and Arts Club have both seems like you guys are planning awesome events, and I really like seeing events on campus. They're student led, and like, let's get more of them, let's go.
I agree. Thanks for putting on events on campus. Congratulations on your new role and your approved request.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it so much.
Cool. I see that, Devin, you joined us. Did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so just before I do, I was gonna add to your, when Shakira asked if you have professors join as well, or adjunct faculty members as well. So to add to your numbers that do come, I don't know if you already use this channel, so don't shoot me down if you do. But if you don't, know some of your resources as well as the professors that you currently have access to professional emails that you do not. So you could ask them to send out your event information to different classes that you do not attend, or to their fellow emails to the professors, if you will. So then all the other professors that you don't have contact with get to know this event. And then they can share it in their class with all their students.
I would look, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
I got two things. You actually just reminded me. So at the social hour, we're planning on there to be a panel as well of GRCC faculty. So after we've introduced all of the events that's happening for the month, we are, let me see, I just sent it out, so I can go ahead and go to my sent. Yeah, so the topics will be code switching, professionalism, and authenticity. So where we were waiting on this to get approved, and we're gonna draft up some questions for this panel. I've already sent out the email to all of the potential panelists. Sheena, I'm hoping you could be one. So I'm gonna send out that email. But yeah, so it's gonna be a panel as well, 1:30 to 2:30. So an hour into the event, after we've done all the promotion and everything, there's gonna be a panel with questions we've prepared. And also, there's gonna be a moment where students can just ask questions that they may have. Yeah. So, yeah,
She'll be there.
okay.
I can't wait.
Throw it on your agenda.
I don't know, I'm already sick.
It's your agenda, yeah.
Could you remind me your name again?
Pearson Van Gorp from the Collegiate.
Peterson?
No, Pearson.
Pearson? Okay. Y'all watch Suits? I'm sorry. Okay, Pearson, yeah, I sent a message to the Collegiate, and I was saying, possibly add a segment where, student orgs can share their events on the Collegiate news.
For sure, no,
Listen,
that's something that I'll have to look into.
All right, Doc, thank you.
No.
I do know the collegiate, well, if you have an event coming up and let them know, they'll send journalists to your event.
Perfect. Oh, yes.
Add it into it already.
Thank you.
Give them your schedule.
That's very
The school media department as well, saying if you give them your event schedule a month ahead of time, then they can put it on their roster and they can have people from the school of photography attend events as well.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what we do. Alex asked me to introduce himself. Okay, so what we do, so what I, all right, so I'm the president and the founder of the Rotary organization, is one of 3 activist groups for the college. I'm sponsored in co-partnership with the Rotary Club of Grand Rapids and Rotary International as well. So what we do is we create relationships in the community to make change. Not only, we're focused business to business, but we're not only business to business relations. So what we do is we coordinate with others to make change in the community by putting service before self. So if there's an issue that you, or anybody that wants to get involved, sees and wants to challenge or correct, you can come to our club and we have the ability to make that change. Not just through GRCC, but also through our sponsors. I know that some clubs are restricted through funding. I understand that. We have access to separate funding through our sponsorships. So we are able to do some things that other clubs may not be able to do in accordance with what we have going on already. So that's where we would really like to offer a platform for other clubs to be able to resource and network with us. I know the Arts Club has already reached out to us. Alex, the president of, the student up here, has reached out. Yourself, I forgot your name. I met you one time. Tyrell, that's right. You and I were both grabbing our supplies together. For involvement. There's about 3 of you guys ready. Oh, man, I had, who did I have with me? I had Ashley and me, and we were all in this tiny little closet. Like 4 of us trying to fight, 5 of us fight through totes, just to find our stuff for involvement day.
That was my first day seeing where we hold our
It was
stuff.
so fun, honestly. And then so involvement day, I got to meet everybody and got to talk with Alex, or not Alex, Spencer a little more. Sorry, there's so many, because that's what I said. I'm not gonna remember everyone's names right away.
It's all right.
Sorry. But I like what's that?
I said I'm terrible with names too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we talked about that actually. Yeah, for sure. So see what I'm saying? There you go. So I really like what everybody's doing here with community. And that's like the focus on everybody getting back together and working together and creating events here on campus. And, it's really good to see, especially after COVID, after everybody's been so separated, locked down and like just isolated, it's good to get back to it. I just wanted to say that, the reason why I'm doing this and what we are gonna be doing here at the school, and activating and doing activist work that we're doing personally is just because of some of the hardships that I've seen while going to school here that students have to deal with on a daily basis, whether it be when it comes to like enrolling or classes or advising or whatever it is. I know it's really fun. We all have our clubs and our groups and the things that we want to do, but at the end of the day, some of the systems that we have in place here, we could definitely really get down to brass tacks and fix. And I think that it's only gonna come from us because we're the ones that are on the ground, that have our feet on the ground, that are going through it, us students that really know it needs to be changed. And the changes are only gonna be made by us working together, doing exactly what we're doing right now. So I know like some of our faculty members, they can't really say or do some of the stuff that we can't. So I think it'd be really cool for us to make sure that we focus on making sure that not only are we like having fun and doing all the stuff that we can, obviously, but let's make sure that like while we're here, like what's our effect, our positive effect. Because at the end of the day, what is it when you walk into a room? What's your effect on others and yourself as well? Kind of deal. So that's kind of what got me doing what I'm doing. But yeah, so we're focused on community outreach and just a little like sample of what we do. We go to Blandford Nature in the summer with some of the professors in practice. Over the winter, I actually had a daughter and I was in the NICU for a while. And I know it's minutes real quick. But so over Christmas, we partnered with the Senior Neighbors Association and the Rotary Club did, the Rotary Club here at GRCC. We partnered with the Rotary Club of Grand Rapids and Senior Neighbors Association, as well as Aquinas College. And we had Senior Neighbors charter in 200 senior citizens from 5 different townships: Lowell, Sparta, Granville, Wyoming, and Kentwood. And then we sponsored the raising and all of the goods. And we put together 200 gift bags for these seniors, as well as we held them in the banquet hall at Aquinas and fed all of these seniors. And then donated 75 stockings to the school pantry here. They're partnered with Meyer that put $25 gift cards in the stockings as well. So students could have, except for Christmas, just little things like
I'm
that.
gonna have to cut you off right here. I
Yeah, okay.
apologize. We have, real quick, we have our guest speaker here, but we're gonna briefly open things up to public comment. I
Yeah.
believe we have someone on the online who wanted to say something.
Ashby.
Oh, Ashbury, I'm sorry.
So the International Language Club will be doing a cultural fest in April. It's gonna be probably like April 15-ish. But we do need some people representing some countries. We need a Middle Eastern country and someone who knows about the Chinese culture. So, because we want 10 booths in 10 countries. So if somebody knows somebody from that cultural background, we would love to have them, represent the country. And so we need China, Middle Eastern, and possibly in a European country. Italy would be great, if not any other European country, yes,
And you did say they could be staff members as well,
I
right?
think, yes.
Okay.
Yep. And we have one for France, so France all good, but Italy or any European country, China, and then Middle Eastern country, we do need somebody to represent that group. If not, we can find other options, but my priority would be to have somebody from that country or somebody who knows of that culture and, so if people ask questions, they're not just saying, oh, I don't know. They know about it, at least a little bit to answer some questions. So that'd be great if people know people.
What, could you repeat the countries again? So I
Yeah.
can just write them down.
It is China, any Middle Eastern country, and then a European country, either Italy or any other European country, but Italy would be nice. Kind of famous, people know it. And I had one more question about allocation. So we talked about, to have allocations done like a month prior. What would you say about the other, requests? So like, the sound media photographer, do you want us to book them or at least have an approval from them and then allocate? Because a month before might be too early for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't book anybody without having money. And so you should request the money you need and then we can see if we can get that approved or not.
Okay.
I think what I might add to that is if it's like internal,
Yeah.
right, like it sounds like you're gonna hire media.
Yeah.
They're not gonna charge you and they might like to have this on their calendar because they're doing a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe the date doesn't even work. So maybe just be in touch with them to see like what dates
Sure.
could work.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a bad thing to book with them. Just keep in touch.
We're gonna
Yeah.
have mostly the internal, like, even the sound media or photographers, all of them will be using GRCCs. There might be some restaurants we'll be using, like 5 restaurants from like Grand Rapids that we'll be using, but I'll book them after the allocation though, so. That's.
Do you know what countries are being represented right now? Or can you
Yeah.
share that? at the moment?
It's India, Mexico, South Korea, China, if we get in representation for it. Italy or France, depending on which country we get, or European country. We have one country that Basu will represent. We have Haiti, we have Brazil, and one Middle Eastern country, if we can find somebody for it.
Cool. What was that country?
We didn't choose the country yet. We just had our e-board meeting Friday, and my team said they want to do it, so we gotta
Yeah.
discuss that together.
We'll collaborate more and get a finalized list of what countries will be represented. And she left, but I did want to talk to her about collaborating with her as well. To see if we can have like multiple clubs joined in.
It's in April, correct?
Yes, maybe like the week before April, like the exams.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. In any case, we're going to introduce our special guests for this town hall. We've got Whitney Marsh and Victoria Janowiak.
Hi, Vicky.
Yes.
I'm not Whitney.
And everyone give them a round of applause, like.
Presentation, just some images to share with you, but I'm thinking about the folks that are online with us in a minute. That would be able to see that, so I don't think I have your Zoom link. But if you wanna send that to, do I have the Zoom link in the equipment? If someone can send it to me in a minute, then I can display and share. And then the folks, how many folks do we have in the virtual audience?
2.
Give me a minute, I'll update the calendar appointment.
Okay, thanks.
Alex, I have to head on that class I know, but I am in favor of the balance for everyone. This year. This for no. This is really, it's, this is that. I will check you.
You should see that if you refresh. Can you see the description? Cause I just put everything in there.
Must you either click on the 12 to 2 appointment instead of the 1 to 1:30?
I did that one.
Oh.
Yeah. Huh.
Did you click on mine?
Yes.
The other one?
For sure.
I'm good.
Can I just chat it to you?
Yeah.
I see it, but you don't, so that's awesome.
I refresh.
Okay, it's in your chat.
I didn't know you were gonna have slides, I would have tried to get this over.
Did you know that? There it is.
Ashley's quick.
Full
Okay,
screen
who's
for me.
controlling it though? Do I have share rights? To share my screen, or what's the password?
Yes, it's 788-468.
788-468.
You got it. Yeah, I think she'll explain.
Oh, look, there I am. Okay, right, that's what we don't need. So let's share the screen. Don't need the audio. Only video. Okay. All right, so thank you for entertaining us. We were here a few months ago to talk about the pool project and the renovation there. So we have been actively in design work, the schematic design work, which is kind of the first conceptual, what could this space be? And so that's what we're here to kind of just share with you today. This is the same presentation we shared with Dr. Lepper and the executive leadership team last week or so. Whitney, feel free to jump in here at any point if I miss anything. Actually, this is her building, so she runs the field house and everything, so has been on our design team, as well as Alex made some of the meetings, and Ashley's on that team. And so we shared this with the executive leadership team last week. We were supposed to be with you on Martin Luther King Day when we had the weather day, so this is a makeup. So you should have seen this actually before Dr. Lepper did, so that we had the student feedback. But then last week, we also had a kind of open house, a design open house, where the architect firm was here and they had lots of images and walked through and got a lot of feedback, sticky notes and things. And so we had almost 100 people that came through, more than 80 of them were students, student athletes and exercise science students. So they are in the process of taking all those sticky notes and kind of looking at them right now. But we just wanted to just give you an update and show you some of the images and get any of your feedback or answer any of your questions on timing a minute. Some of this I won't bore you with because it's kind of but schedule stuff. So So our team is there, you don't really need to worry about that. I can't get it to move ahead. Oh, here's the schedule, very quickly. We are in schematic design phase right now. Once we kind of get done with that, we'll get a budget check. That's how that works. And the CM will kind of let us know, are we close to our 12.9 or are we gonna have to do some value engineering potentially? Then we go into design development, which is really the specifics. We've got the concepts and now we talk about the colors and the finishes and, you know, all of those kinds of things. And so we'll start that work. The pool is closed, so the building is off limits, so that we can start demo or whatever we need to do whenever we're ready to do that. We have our guiding principles, and so the first one was that this be a student-centric space. So at the end of every design session, we kind of circle back to these. How'd we do today? Are we still on track? Do we still think that this reflects our desire to be student-centric? The focus on accessibility and equity, that the space allows us to be flexible and adaptable, and we'll deal with technology when we get into design development. And then certainly from a budget perspective, we want to be fiscally responsible. So this is an interesting building because it's built in a hill, the side of a hill. And so part of it, if you had, how many of you were ever in the pool? The pool area, kind of, okay, so you gotta think in terms of what that, it had the deep end, and then it's got the shallow end, and it's built underground, and then it had risers up around it. So it's a very confusing, two-dimensional building to kind of get a handle on, so just bear with us on this a little bit. So this is actually the lowest level, this is where the racquetball courts are currently, if you've ever been in there, where the free weight room is currently, that's really underground. So there's no daylight there. This is the deep end of the pool that we're talking about. So this is kind of that whole area. So this kind of first floor then would be where the new fitness center, weight room, whatever Whitney decides to do with distributing machines, maybe a little differently, but this is the new fitness center there. And then we're incorporating kind of a pedestrian, get your steps in route through this space. And you'll see in a little bit where it really connects with main campus some, that is able to go around that tank. If you're thinking about that, we create something around the tank, hopefully save some of the tank for storage, and then the rest you'll see upstairs kind of gets filled in. So this, at this level, as you enter the fitness center, there's a check-in spot here. There is a new athletic locker room area for both men's and women's. And then this kind of radar ramp, you'll see us reference that, is an elliptical universal design that takes you up to the next level that we're gonna get to. So again, from a pedestrian route, this is the arena over here and the balcony, so that you actually can enter this way and then join the ramp. We'll talk about the new entrances in a minute. Okay, now we're up one level. You still see the ramp, so we took the ramp up a level. There's a balcony here that overlooks the fitness center, so that's capturing space from the high racquetball courts. That then is additional stretching space, kind of just hand weight, whatever that might be, space up there. And then this looks over the new, larger basketball court size. Whitney, that's right? Basketball court size?
Correct, yep, it's 94 feet essentially from white line to white line, which is the size of a current like collegiate basketball court with maybe 4 or 5 feet on the ends there.
So again, another locker room and facilities on this floor, and then this is proposed to be all turf. So we have the hard floor in the arena, and then this would be the turf space for recreation. And it kind of goes up one more level, and you don't, you're still looking down below into that open space, but around, this is where the current bleachers were, looking down in the pool, if you were in that space. And so we're creating kind of just casual, informal hangout, lounge space, just space to be. There's not, again, to be designed yet, what this refreshment wellness bar kind of space might be. And then this room, again, is another just group activity space, whether it's a student yoga club or could get scheduled kind of thing. And we're still in the design phase in terms of how we might, what materials we might use to break that space up, to be able to do a couple of different things in that space. So, Whitney, am I missing anything? Jump right in here.
Nope, so far so good.
Okay.
Upstairs, one more level, I think.
Yeah.
We will have, a mother's room, I guess, for, nursing, for nursing parents, so that's gonna be really nice. Is that on this level?
No,
or is
that's
that
one
one-
down.
Okay, I wanted to point that out, because right now we don't have that space available in the building, so we are able to add that. And the only other thing I was gonna mention, there is a, gender neutral restroom locker room on each level as well.
Yeah, so here on this kind of third level is where the mother's room is, and then this kind of the student lounge, the ramp, it is because of the hill again, and the floors don't always line up, there's a little ramp that takes you up to get to this level where that, food, beverage, vending, whatever it ends up being, and then those other rooms. And then the fourth, kind of 3.5, I'll call it level, is the addition of what we're just referring right now to individual small group spaces. So if you had an hour between practice and your class, and you just needed somewhere to be able to go, or, you know, just in the environment to study, or just a group, the coach is looking forward to it, to be able to take an athlete and their parents maybe to meet there, it still kind of looks over that space, so, it's not library type quiet, because there could be activities going in there, but we think it's far enough away that it's still a destination spot. So this is the part I was talking about, we're being able to get your steps in. So many people didn't even know that that building on that far end of campus was ours. It's like, it's so far away. So we're really working to connect it more through this architectural design and the renovation with main campus. And one of the ways to do that is to make it more pedestrian accessible. And so this, if you just think about the whole campus and our skywalk system, which is, you know, gets us from one street level but across the hill, building the potential to connect that with that facility. So this actually, we are over here right now. So this is the ramp B and the bridge that takes you across the roof then and gets you either into the arena, or you can take to get to the science building. Everybody with me then? This ramp that goes across from the student center there into the field house. When you use that, you're at the balcony level. And so if we are intentional about that, can create a walkway that takes you across the balcony. And we're proposing a new connector addition that would be covered so that you can get to this section of the building from the east and west now, as opposed to having to navigate your way through the field house. But this is a pedestrian route that could take you here then to do the check-in, do the elliptical, walk around the track if you want, come upstairs to that other area and kind of circle back from a pedestrian perspective. Does that make sense? And then, as I mentioned earlier, this is the natatorium entrance, and we're working to improve those street entrances at what the designers are calling the heart of the building. So between the field house arena section and the former pool section, creating major entrances from the east and west. So you could get to this from Ransom Street, you could get to it from ramp B, and still easily get into that center to check in and use the recreation facility. Adding a green roof, part of our sustainability, so we're looking at that kind of thing. Still to be determined whether we make the roof accessible or not, but it is possible to do that, and that would allow, and the other thing I want to point out on this one is currently that building doesn't have any daylight in it. So we're gonna punch skylights in to bring daylight into the turf area, punch windows in the side to bring daylight in. All these are, you know, all new windows in that facing entrance section there. So really capturing daylight and allowing it to filter through the building. This is the proposed kind of walkway on the science building side that we get, so we kind of wrap around the building and then bringing into the recreation center part. And then we just got some conceptual images of what it might look like inside. Lots of transparency again, so you can see between, but check in clearly defined on both levels, so that once you're in, and you're free to roam about the building. What commercial is that? Travelocity, free to roam. Sorry. So again, just some different examples of images. Here's a cutout that kind of then shows that. You think this is an east-west cutout? Yeah, east-west cutout. So you've got your weight room here, here's the balcony, you've got the extra room up there, and then one more, really those smaller rooms. And this is the tank and storage, and then the recreation area. Or the turf area, sorry, the whole building's recreation area. Here's the other side where you can kind of see, this is where we get the idea for, but. Yeah, this kind of shows that range where you can kind of circle around to be able to get you up from the fitness level to the balcony part of it, and then the turf is on the other side of that.
Yeah, and so our goal with the ramp is, so if someone is in a wheelchair, they can go from top to bottom without, because right now the elevator is outside the checkpoint. So when somebody in a wheelchair would come in, they'd have to leave the checkpoint, get in the elevator, go up the steps, check back in, and it's just not as conducive as with the ramp. Now, once they're in, then they're in, and then they can get from top to bottom without having to leave and come back, if that makes sense. So that's
been a
where,
much more equitable experience.
exactly, yep, we're trying to bring that in, which right now we're lacking in the building. So this is gonna be a huge improvement.
It's also a really cool architectural feature, we think, that, you know, it's very unique. So,
Yes.
has anybody been to the Y out,
It's like Cascade.
Cascade, that's completely universal design at all, yeah, similar in concept.
Mhm.
So those were the images that we wanted to share with you today, kind of give you an idea of where we're at. Ashley, I didn't mean to exclude you. You sit on the team too. Anything you want to add?
I don't know if you have those slides prepared, but more of the spaces that student orgs could see themselves utilizing. Just because, no, it's student centric, but this is like student athletes, student leaders, students who might just want study space. So maybe just showing some of the options depending on the hat they're wearing.
Right. So it might be kind of hard to see the ones that we have.
Let me go back to just in terms of. So much of the space, and we're not gonna be scheduling any classes in this space. So I think we shared that with you before. This is intended to be accessible for a variety of activities at any point. So Whitney's gonna have the challenge of trying to make sure that, well, who's all in there at the same time? You notice that it referenced, one below, we referenced the batting cage. So, you know, with the softball team in there, and what are they gonna be doing? Are we gonna be doing a futsal intramural team during that? So there will be some activity scheduling that will occur in the space because of the resources that exist there. But there won't be any academic class activity that would make the space off limits for other kinds of activities. So that's all. So this group activity space then, whether it's the whole space or whether it's part of the space, can be used for student activities.
I was just curious about like the square footage. It's kind of hard to tell based on like the blueprints, but like roughly how big is the activity space in comparison to other areas? Like,
Just the turf is 8,000 square feet.
okay.
But if you think about in the arena, if you've ever been in there, when the blue curtains are down over top of the wood floor, It's essentially that space and a little bit wider.
Okay.
If that helps.
Remember this one?
That is, so it's 25 feet across and like 84 feet long.
Alright.
So it's a long, narrow, more rectangular space. It's bleachers now, like in the pool looking down. So essentially the bleachers will be gone.
Couple questions.
Oh, yeah. We will have air conditioning on this level too, on this sector building, because right now we don't, so, yeah.
All right, I have a couple questions as well. So you guys aren't in the phase yet where you guys have seeked your contractors yet, then have you?
We have our construction manager firm. So Chrisman is our construction manager. And when they get to the point where we have construction drawings and we're ready to actually go out to bid, then they will manage general contractors into trades, yeah.
So how do you guys keep track of your sustainability scale then?
We are going for green globes on this. We have used LEED in the past. We have several buildings that are LEED certified. With this one, green globes is new for us. It's a different standard
What
that.
made you choose them instead of LEED? My major is sustainability. That's why.
Yep. There are a couple of reasons. It's new. It's not one we've done. It's getting, in the industry. Again, the facilities folks are the ones that manage that, so I'm speaking through them. But it is another metric that is becoming more popular. It does not require as much financial cost to implement.
Yeah.
Not from the design or from the product, but just purely the fee to get certified.
So do they work with the county and the city still as well?
The contractors?
No, what you.
Green globes?
Green globes.
Um,
Are
well-
they like, yeah, sorry.
I don't know that. I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you, who would connect the standard. I mean, like LEED has several standards done that.
Well, my reason I asked that is because if they're sourcing the materials, they have to be locally sourced if they're sustainable. So when it comes to like, for instance, like Sneeden and like our Ender Hall. Okay, that is one of the oldest buildings in Grand Rapids, like by far. It's been here since the city was founded, and we've revamped that building into being one of the lead example. Ironically, no pun, lead buildings in the city.
Yeah.
And so using that form of sustainable building, we've kind of set an example for our campus having sustainable resources and just buildings in general.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, was just shocking to me that we'd switch away from.
I wouldn't call it a switch away. I'd call it an enhancement potentially. I mean, our green cleaning practices and some of the other things we're doing in this building, as we shift toward being more, environmentally sensitive to things. We'll be piloting some things in this building to move in that direction. The DeVos campus is within the historical preservation district, so there's lots of other kinds of requirements that went into those renovations. And again, we've not made the decision yet. One, we will go with a environmentally sustainable credentialing of some sort when we do this project.
I know, like, we obviously have a lower budget here at the school this year than we did prior, so I mean, I understand we want to save money, but at the end of the day, at what cost are we saving money? I guess that's just what I would like to see, like, when we're showing this information. I mean, it's cool to see everything, don't get me wrong, it takes a lot of work to put a CAD together, everything, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it'd be nice to see some of the, like, the groundwork of who's doing what and where and how, rather than just like what we're getting.
We can certainly do that. I mean, that's managed. We're not even to that point yet, you know, but that is all, not to that point yet. So, when we decide what, in the design development phase, in this next phase, is where those conversations, you know,
That's what I
what,
said.
yes, what kind of product are we gonna put in? What kind of carpeting, what kind of finishing, what kind, yeah, all of
And
that.
then also, one more thing I had, you had mentioned that students have been leading a lot of this design and, the footwork for this.
Not leading the design. We had an open house last week where we were, requesting feedback on the design. And so they came in and we had just lots of sticky notes. It's like, say anything you want, tell us, you know,
Yeah.
what you
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what you
yeah,
didn't like, that.
Environment.
Yeah.
And then just real quick, because you're the head of the field house, right?
Correct.
Sorry, I'm Devin Bain, president of the Rotary organization here. Sorry, nice to meet you. I actually, my professor and activating, professor for Rotary, actually reached out with the field house and, some of the field house managers. And we had talked about last spring about installing like, artificial beehives and more green roofs and, exactly. And just some of the, like, for instance, we were talking about changing Boswick out to ivy, so it doesn't flood out, and a bunch of different stuff. So I noticed that you guys have green roofs that you guys are planning on doing, that'll obviously come with who you said manages the general contracting, but at the end of the day, Rotary would like to put themselves forward to offering services that you guys can utilize, that if you guys need any, not just, like money, obviously that's different, but for like hands on deck, if you guys need any volunteers, that's what I was looking for, sorry. But yeah, we'd like volunteers in any way to be able to put forth efforts and making change and progressing your guys' efforts here. Okay.
This may,
Awesome, thank you.
yeah, let's keep that in mind, because this may be the perfect project opportunity. Because if you remember where this is, and it kind of takes the hill down, it's the only green space that's left. And so we've talked about the opportunity to say, okay, if this is a potential, however you design it, again, we're not there.
Right.
But environmentally, could design a method to catch rainwater and then have it, you know, work in part of the rest of the landscape.
And I like all of the natural lighting, that's a big deal too, that's definitely really big. The part of me offering our volunteer services comes with the Rotary Club of Grand Rapids sending their members to volunteer with us as well. So if you guys do find that you need help with that, we can definitely send people over your way.
Okay, great, thank you.
So that's what we have for you today. If you have thoughts or reactions or anything, you can get a hold of Whitney, or you can get a hold of Ash, or, you know, kind of thing. We are more than happy to come back again when we get the formal kind of design development, when we know what the finals are gonna look like. And when we, right now, we're tracking on schedule again. Construction will start this summer, if not earlier, and it will occur through all of next academic year, so fall of 24, winter of 25, finish in summer of 25, and the intent with completion for fall of 25, sorry.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
I would like, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. I would like to add that it's really cool that you, incorporated the mother's nursing area. That's really nice.
Yeah, we've added one in the ATC. Now there is one there. We have one in the science building. We have one at the Lakeshore campus. We have one in Sneeden. We have one in Cook. And so we're working to incorporate those in all of our renovations.
That's a good idea.
Thanks, everybody.
Are there any more comments, questions, concerns?
I have a
Katya?
comment. Yeah. I don't, before the Mediterranean classes, I never really explored that area over there. Could there potentially be tours whenever it opens?
Yeah.
Like maybe that first week or month or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and it might be kind of cool, even with this group, to tour it like during construction too, would be really fun, when we get to a good point to do that.
Or
But-
even now, before we start demoing, because
That
it's
would-
so hard to visualize, you know, when you like, one of the images I showed, it's like, well, that hallway doesn't exist now because that's where the cement for the bleachers comes down, and they're really gonna just
Yeah.
implode the
So-
entire thing.
Yeah, I would love to take you guys for a tour, so if it works out in any of your meetings down the road, let me know and we can do that.
I think honestly, what you're getting at, I was thinking about this during the presentation. I didn't know a lot of that was over there myself. And I think it would also be nice maybe if we thought about, when we first enroll as a student, we get a campus tour. You know, just to be able to realize that some of these resources are here.
So one of the things, Ash, I think you and the team here can start to think about once we start, is that when we're ready to open, we're gonna wanna have programming and opportunities ready to go. So, you know, when we know exactly what the space is gonna allow us to do, that year that it's started, we can start thinking about how do we make a splash when we open, kind of thing, so.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
We're not intentional.
Thank you both for being here. Thank you.
We're still on and they can still hear us. Can everyone on Zoom still hear us? All right, well.
That's probably.
But real quick, yeah, I don't mean to do the whole blabbering thing real quick. I'm just Evan Bame, I'm Rotary. You can find us on Rotary, Raider Connect and see what we do there.
Yeah, thanks.
The only person that I don't really know in this room that I don't think I've ever met is you personally and you. I've met you, come on now, I've met you a couple times. I don't remember your name, but I've seen.
Yeah, you were in involvement there. I
Yeah.
remember the Hawaiian trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your name? in your
Kara.
Club?
Fitness club.
Fitness Club, cool, okay, right, I see your emails. Or some of the events. And then stand out and arts, right?
Yeah.
And what was your name?
Remy.
Remy, yeah. Yeah.
Doing the, yeah, no contact.
Handshake, yeah. I'm over here. That's not because of COVID, that's something.
Valid.
And then,
Can people on Zoom hear us still?
Yasmina.
She's working right
Yeah.
now.
she's
Oh,
multitasking.
All right, my bad. I guess moving forward, we should start with our conversation pieces. We have two main things that we want to bring up to everybody still in attendance here. The first thing being just the student government to propose an activities fee equalization for full-time and part-time students. This has been a very long-running conversation that we've been having over the course. Give me 1 second. That we've been having over the course of a couple months now, to bring everyone up to speed. When you pay tuition, you pay money out, there's a specific line in your tuition called the campus activities fee, and that's the money that Student Life gets sent, that gets allocated to CAB and the food pantry and student government. And then all of the different parts of the budget line that you guys voted on in the first town hall. And then the residual money that's left over is what becomes the pool of money, the allocation request that come out. So when you make this is dumbing it down a bit, but when you make an allocation request, it's from that money that funding is taken out. And there are some other moving parts, but for the purpose of this conversation, that's what we're talking about. We did some analysis. We received some information about other community colleges in the area, what their campus activities fee or equivalent was. We received information and collected polling data from students. We got petition signings. And for all intents and purposes, what we found made sense for GRCC was not an increase in the campus activities fee, but just for students that are paying part-time and students who are paying full-time, or students who are part-time and students who are full-time have a different fee associated to them. Part-time students pay $5 out of their tuition and full-time pay $10 out of their tuition. And what we found evidence for to support was increasing the part-time student contribution to match that of the full-time student's contribution. The primary rationale being, no event on campus that the campus activities fee supports discriminates against a student depending on if they're part-time or full-time. Both types of students have equal access to the activities that are funded by that fee. So both students should theoretically be paying the same amount. You could even make the argument that because part-time students are not bogged down with as many classes, they have access to more on-campus events than a full-time student. And so it makes more sense for them to be paying the same amount as a full-time student for that. And so the way that this works moving forward, assuming we still have support, is we compile documentation and we gather our research and our findings, and we submit that to the Board of Trustees, which are meeting on March 11th, I believe.
Yeah.
And we submit to them a proposal, and then the council will decide our fate. Because they still review all the information and decide whether they want to.
Made that sound so obvious.
It's a little intimidating. I mean, you see, Dr. Lepper there, and Dr. Lepper makes me feel comfortable, but, the board has a specific aura about it.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah.
So bringing into the conversation, we just wanted to hear people's opinions on this, whether they're still in favor of it, whether there are concerns about the direction the student government is going. We don't want to make this decision rashly, and we want to hear as many opinions as possible. So I open the floor up to anyone who has anything to share.
I mean, I'm definitely in favor of it. Like, I think it's a very, like, it's a modest increase in terms of like the fee. And it's reasonable, like you said, like everybody has equal access to, if not part-time students have more access to these events sponsored by Campus Activity Board. And just given like, you know, especially since more of us are planning events now, the pandemic is, you know, over and lockdowns aren't happening anymore. I think it just makes sense to have more money in our coffers to be able to fund those events.
Yeah, be able to play around with in real time.
Yeah.
Is anybody here a part-time student? Raise your hand. Just Katya?
Yeah.
Everyone else here is full-time? Nice. Well, I guess Katya, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, as a part-time student, what Michael said was, I didn't know that, the events don't discriminate between part-time and full-time. But that being said, I still go to all of them anyways. But, I think like part-time students, like, for example, I mostly take my classes online. So I'm never on campus, like, and so for me, my struggle with, like going to events is just knowing about them. Like, apart from this meeting, I would have never known that the BASU has so many events planned for Black History Month. So I think, it's really good that we, I don't know, just make part-time students feel more included too, as if they were like full-time students. And just like, I don't know, even though it's a price increase, I think like, Spencer said,
Yeah.
it's only a $5 increase from what it was. So, that's like my cup of coffee. So, that's not too bad, and I think it's fine to increase it.
Nice. Yeah, and we
You wanna-
learned that the ratio of full-time to part-time students is, part-time to full-time students is 78 to 22.
Oh, wow.
So
it would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Versus when this was first implemented some 13 years ago, it was the inverse. So the funding is just completely different.
University level.
Yeah.
I also want to add on that the genesis of this conversation was about, it was as simple as, why is it $5 for part-timers and $10 for full-timers when they get the same benefits? And it was out of that question that this has evolved into a proposal that it just, the short answer is, I don't know, that's the way we did it. And it hasn't changed since then.
That's what-
So it was worth looking into, this is what we've discovered. And I agree, based on the research and other, not universities, but community colleges. We don't need to increase the campus activities fee. There are already a lot of fees. But an evening out of what it's used for amongst all students makes a lot of sense.
It's also important to know that we've collected data from, I was concerned the data being collected from specifically town halls was gonna be skewed improperly towards people who are involved with clubs and boards. And so efforts have been taken place to gather the opinion of students who are not part of clubs and orgs. And it appears that they share a similar sentiment regardless of that fact.
Also included in the research, I don't believe that other schools separate part-time and full-time students.
Correct.
That I don't remember seeing anywhere else that has separate fees for part-time and full-time students.
I didn't even know that there was a difference between part-time and full-time, because I've been part-time 2 of the 4 semesters, and by part-time, I was still 11 credits. So there's still like I don't know, there's not much of a gap, like I still feel like I was pretty busy with 11 credits, now I have 12. And it's like, I feel like it's totally fair, so.
Well, and if I may add, when you see the difference between the budget between last year and this year's budget, it makes complete sense because 78% of people could give $5 more that our budget goes up. Well, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Really, really good vote.
Yeah, and if this proposal was to be approved by the Board of Trustees, it would start in the fall of 2024, so this year's fall.
Yes. So immediately.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But kind of a follow-up question to that, with that influx of money that we may get, are there any potential budget lines that you'd like to see as students? Personally, I was thinking if we have the budget for it, if we have enough money for it, maybe a separate budget line for Lakeshore. So they could have some money and not have to rely too much on the main campus.
And I didn't realize they don't have their own separate.
Yeah.
budget.
So do we know what their budget currently looks like?
I think Sheena has some of those details. They do, I think the Campus Activities Board has allocated some fees in the past, but it's very new and because it's still sort of undefined, we're trying to, even that out and make
We've
sure.
talked about getting clubs going over there because there's no clubs out there at all. And Ashley and I have talked several times about maybe sending some Rotary over there and whoever wants to go over there that is club oriented, and maybe go out there and just advertise that we have clubs or that they can create clubs. Because currently there's not a pathway for people at the Lakeshore to create a club.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we need to lay that groundwork so they know they can do that. And then if they can do that, they can fundraise.
Yeah.
To help out their funds a lot in that sense.
Yeah. No pressure, but any other ideas other than Lakeshore? I know it's like just
I think-
asking out of it.
I like Spencer asking about their budget. I mean, it's hard for us to make decisions that are intelligent if we don't know what their budget is. I'd hate to make a decision and then it affects them and we don't know what's affected.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't want to see more budget lines per se, but I would like to see the number of active clubs on campus increase. And I think that if there's more money in the pool to support those clubs, that would overall be good for the student, just health on campus.
Absolutely.
More students, more active clubs means more events. I mean, can you imagine every week that you go to school, there's a different event going on by a different club?
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
And that's I don't know exactly how much this would increase the overall budget by, but again, you said 78 to 20 something.
That's what I was saying.
Part-time to full.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is contingent on enrollment, but I think regardless, in some respect, Is it, I mean, nonetheless, it's an increase.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like it's gonna be a pretty significant one.
If you
so.
want me to be honest with you, I don't think anybody's gonna notice the increase because 90% of the people sitting in this room didn't even know there was a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Being aware of
It's
that is
$5.
also what they wanna
If you're
raise.
changing your decision to attend a college based off of them allocating $5 extra of your tuition costs to go towards the good of your school, then I'm not gonna speak.
Thank you for that info, but we just don't want to make that assumption.
Yeah.
We need to hear you say it.
With respect to that sentiment, I do want to say that I personally disagree with that.
That's
sentiment.
fine.
I think that increasing tuition at all period is an incredibly dangerous proposal that should be done with absolute care and strategy.
Yeah.
Because people have a tendency to see the $5, but they don't see that that $5 gains away for $10 another time and 15 another time, and eventually the ball can roll out of control. So every single small step has to be taken with the utmost precaution so that we're not opening ourselves up to something potentially more dangerous happening. in the
100%.
future.
I was just saying 90% of people. in this room didn't even notice it.
There are some people going to community college right now where $5 is still a lot of money to
You're
them.
telling me. I just bought a $200 calculator with my student funds and my dog ate it.
Did you actually buy the TI 84?
I didn't, I had to turn in assignments.
Calculator, brother.
I had to have it done.
They do,
Had to have it
it's
done.
amazing. They do also have discounted calculators at the online store.
Yeah, they didn't tell me that at all.
Yeah.
You know, literally, it was like, my calculator is MIA, I cannot find my calculator, I have assignment due right now, and they were like, well, we're closing in 4 minutes, so. And I was like, all right, cool, well, give me this calculator. Went home and found the calculator and my calculator, and yeah, so then
Oh my
I
God.
Well, at
went,
least now you have.
and my dog ate it off of the shelf while it was still in the package next to the receipt.
That's awful.
So trust me, man, I've utilized the $500 emergency funds like every single semester. But I just because I have a nice, this is from Goodwill, don't get it. But all I'm saying is, no, I definitely see what you're saying, that, you know, we do have to look out for the interests of the school for sure, and students as well.
Similar to this, we were also thinking about potentially changing the name of the campus activities fee to something else. Or at least editing it in some way. How would you guys feel about that? Would you say that the campus activities fee is accurate to how accurate to how the money is being spent right now?
I think it's accurate, but I feel like fee has a negative connotation to it. So maybe, I think it's accurate, but maybe there's a different way to phrase it.
Have you guys thought about a different way already?
Honestly, we haven't given this much of, we haven't given this a ton of internal thought just
I
yet.
didn't have an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because like, I do feel like campus, like, I would agree with Tara that like campus activity, like, that is what it's used for, but like, I guess.
Maybe fund instead of
Cost.
fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Allocation even.
I think it's going to be a fee, that this is a tuition line item, the same way that there's a records fee and a technology fee, and it could be a campus fee, it could be an activities fee. The problem is that campus activities, more than half of our budget has been spent on sending people off campus for things. And so it's like, does the words campus activities fee accurately represent what this fee
Student
is?
activity fee, maybe?
Student fee,
Yeah, and
student activity fee.
a lot of the campus activities fee is spent on like the food pantry, on
Well, yeah, some,
compensation on student leaders towards the music department. So it's, I guess that's what we were thinking. It's not it's not necessarily always used for campus activities,
Right.
but yeah, we just wanted to know what do you guys think about that? Katya?
I was just gonna add that fund would be a nicer word, but.
I know like everyone wants to be nice, but when I look at my bills and I look at what I paid for, I want it to be cut and dry. This is what I paid for. That was a fee for this. I don't need someone to sugarcoat what I just paid for. I can make more money. I can't make more time. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, fee is fine, I think. If I paid for something, I wanna know I paid that fee. I
Well,
want somebody
again, I
to-
don't think that's gonna change. This is
Yeah,
going to be. a fee.
Right, exactly. I
It
think
is.
fee should stay, and I think like you guys are focusing on student rather than, or whatever you got. I think that's a good idea.
I think that the primary use of this funding should be primarily for campus activities. And I think that that's what the spirit of the fund was, and whether or not we're still there or not can certainly be discussed. But I think that just because specific lines in the budget are put towards things like the food pantry, or just because the campus activities fee gets spent occasionally to send students on trip, doesn't necessarily mean that we should be moving away from what the point of the fund traditionally has been used for and should be used for, which is funding of student-led activities on campus. And I think that when you cut words out or change words, what you run the risk of doing in some situations is obfuscating what the fund is actually for. And that could be good and that could be bad, but keeping in mind what the fund is meant to be used for should be paramount when we're talking about name changes.
Spencer and David.
Yeah, so like. Is the main impetus for this like name change? Is it because we're trying to be? Like, are we worried that a change in name would change the way that we utilize the campus activity fee, or are we mostly just doing this for transparency with the student
Yeah,
body?
I'm worried, man.
Okay,
I would say more transparency and to make it more clear on what students' monies are being used for.
I would agree. It's more about clarity and that a lot of this money is not used for campus activities specifically. And so if we would like to continue to use it the way that we have been, I'm not sure. And that campus activities fee is the correct verbiage.
I would push back by just claiming that I think that the money that is going into this fund should primarily be used for campus activities. And the fact that sometimes it does, I think that every time that it's not used for campus activities specifically is potentially worrisome. And that's not to say that I would deny travel allocations. But I think that moving forward in the future, more care has to be done to things like that. I wanted to give you an opportunity. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, like, the name change might be fine. My only concern was that when I was paying my tuition, I had no idea what campus activities even meant. Like, now I completely support it. It completely makes sense, but just seeing it on the paper, I don't know if there's any way to fix that, but I didn't know it was going towards club allocations and events on campus. Sure.
So actually, that's what I was kind of gonna touch on, is if you're looking at it on paper, it'd be nice to see a breakdown of what those campus activities are. You know, and then that way you get that transparency, like, oh, this is what campus activities are, you know, club, fee, whatever. But I feel like when you get into this title change, you're kind of running into territory to where if you're gonna do this, you guys are talking about, people that we're talking about what we're specifically going to be allocating funds for, you're looking at talking about not just a name change, but more than one budget. Because if you're talking about a specific use, but not for this specific area, then that's gonna be a different budget. So if you're gonna end up changing that name, I think it'd be smart to look into changing just a singular budget to multiple budgets, like you were saying, you didn't want more budget line. I get it, that's going out, but at the same time, it just makes more work, I think, logistically in general, but if you want more clarity, I mean, you're gonna put the work in, right? So I think that you're looking at multiple budgets if you're gonna use different terminology.
and also I feel like building off of that, I feel like that would prevent funds from being misused if they're in one budget. Like if they're in the campus activities budget, maybe it goes specifically towards like events on campus, and then you have a separate budget for.
Off campus.
Yeah, like
Whatever, yeah.
exactly.
That would be more in line with what I would like to see.
It's more specific.
I don't know if I'd wanna see that paying for
tuition though, is so many different categories of where the funds are going, whether if it was just like a term, like student activities fund, which I feel like would be the most consistent, because I don't see anything wrong with off-campus activities, even local. Like we went to the mines and that was a very educational experience, and there's all sorts of off-campus, you know, not like conferences, but just in the local, like the turkey trot, there's local things that we can do that I think are good. And I think that gets students more excited to do college things, rather than just let's meet on campus and sit in a room and do an event where, you know, go somewhere else and kind of have fun as a college group there. I think there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
feel like that's kind of one of the perks of that, as getting out of high school, going to college, I probably get more out of the classroom, more in the field, you know, and I feel like a lot of that comes from this activity.
Yeah, to second that, I feel like going off campus does still kind of contribute towards campus, because it's an opportunity for people who are attending PRCC. It kind of, it still feeds into campus life. Yeah.
That's entirely how the justification has been used for things like Go CGR. Which, if you're not aware, you get free tickets to the museum and the symphony and the zoo and other things.
Are you kidding me?
None of this happens on campus.
My neighbor is like in the GR Grand Rapids, the professional ballet, and he's like, come display our stuff, and I'm like, I can't afford $60 ticket.
Yeah, there are limits.
The campus activities fee pays for that. Really?
Get your voucher at the Foundation Student Life.
I believe that's like.
Oh, do you have? Cause you know I wanted to go see all of them.
Oh, great. Tilden Museum, all the museums.
You can also bring someone else for free,
like just like
one person, I think.
One thing I may ask, I just wanted to ask you guys, just for like information like that, like resources like that. I didn't know that, I'm here for 2 years, you know, and so what are we doing as a campus and as a board and as others, as students and clubs to get the information out to other students on campus, not just only on Raider Connect, because I was just at Enrollment Day and like 65% of those students told me they didn't even know Raider Connect existed.
Yeah.
And that's really hard, because that's our main platform on campus to advertise. And then I have other club club presidents I'm going to, like, hey, where are you guys communicating? And everybody's using Discord or a different platform, you know what I mean? Which is not advertised at the school. So then we're trying to get traction for some of our clubs, like for instance, like the yoga club, and I've seen other clubs trying to gain traction, and they just have nowhere to advertise other than Raider Connect, you know?
If I can chip in real quick, communication is not a problem that is isolated to just the community college.
Yeah.
There is a known communication problem here at the community college, and that we don't currently have a communications director. So, but the overarching problem is that there are so many ways to communicate that it is difficult to be in all of those
It's like
spaces.
same channels,
Right, and that's like the idea behind Raider Connect is to funnel out all that information to a place. But as you said, only students who are actively involved in clubs typically use it.
Yeah.
By the way, it's another thing that comes out of the campus activities, it's the Raider Connect, the thing that's supposed to connect us all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a known issue that there is I wouldn't say lack of communication, but there's a lot of confusing communication and a lot of information that is missed through lots of various channels.
We have a couple minutes left, so we can just go down the line.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that, a lot of students don't use Raider Connect, but, from what I see, a lot of the clubs do kind of print out posters and, can ask Student Life if they can like promote it on like certain buildings.
Yeah, I've seen that, and on the boards too, around camp, that's a good idea. I've done that.
I also wanna add, because I just found out about this at Involvement Day, but like, apparently there is like a GRCC Discord page, like a collective GRCC, so like we just added our club's Discord to that page. And from what I've seen, there's only like 3 clubs, there's BASU, Standout, and then us.
Yeah, we'll throw ourselves on this.
So, yeah, so like, we've definitely been getting some new members from that. But like, that is something I feel that could be better advertised as well, because that's definitely more used than Raider Connect from what I've seen.
Is it official?
No,
It is
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what? I'm not sure about that.
So,
But.
I prefer Discord to Raider Connect for a myriad of reasons, but also I think that there are kind of. There's some kind of like administrative oversight that has to be done.
Yeah.
So we need to get that officiated. Before we could start advertising it to students.
I think it is.
Yeah, who runs the GRCC Discord? Is it
Well,
the
well,
media?
it's
Is it the
it's like
media?
It's a community.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Oh, okay.
explain.
No, I mean, I get it. I know, I mean, I
It's
just, I didn't know if like we had a staff member that started.
You an
No.
opportunity to speak real fast.
Is there any way we could update Reader Connect to include a communication thing? Like just a central area? Yeah, can we bring Discord to Reader Connect?
I think that's.
I don't think they merged. We are looking at like a different package with the same vendor, potentially a different vendor. Or what to do about it, because we know it's a pain point, but we do have a 3-year contract with the Reader Connect platform, so. TBD, we would certainly bring it here. There's just, yeah, it's a big conversation. So fingers crossed, we'd love to have a communication piece.
Thank you, everybody, for your time and your thoughts today. It's appreciated.
Yeah. Go ahead, take food on your way out too, and anything that doesn't get eaten gets thrown out, so just take what you can.
Sounds good.
Thanks for staying the whole 2 hours.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, barring no illicit smoke. Jeez. Huh?
Oh, illicit stuff.
Illicit snow days.